Hello and welcome to this module. You'll learn a nifty way to generate traffic to your website, guest blogging. This method, in most cases, requires no payment at all. It's simple yet effective. Let's jump into it right now. What is guest blogging? Well, it's simply what is implied by the name, which is writing a post for another blog. It means the content and the idea of a blog post comes from another author and not the blog owner. If you were a guest blogger, your job is to come up with content and write a post for another blog instead of your own. Even though the guest post is written by a different author who has their own blog, the subject of the post is still usually the same as the host blogger. There's still congruency between the guest post and the rest of the host's posts. Let's say if the topic of the blog is golf, the guest author would write something related to golf, but from a different angle, of course. Guest blogging is about sharing new insights. Now, we move on to why do guest blogging when you already have your own blog to tend to? Well, the first reason being, and this is the most important one, is that by guest posting on someone's blog, you're introducing your writing, content, and ideas to a whole new group of people of the same niche. As mentioned before, what you write in a guest post is congruent to the blog's contents. So the readers of the blog are interested in what you have to say too, because you're talking roughly about the same thing. But these readers might not be familiar with who you are. So you're getting your name out there by doing this because by the time they read your writings, they might think this writer shares some interesting points. Which leads to the next good reason for being a guest writer. Once you've gotten your ideas and writing out to the people who are already interested in what you write about, they will most likely be interested in you. They will then be curious of what you have to offer in your own website. Usually in a guest post, the link to the author's own website can be found at the bottom of the post. Those who are intrigued by your writing and idea will surely click on your link. This will generate traffic to your own website. Now that you know how powerful guest posting is, and perhaps you already have a rough idea of what your content is going to be, you're probably wondering, okay, this is great, but how do I choose a particular blog to write on? Well, this can be done easily by just a quick search on Google or any other search engines. First, type in the keywords of the topic of your website. For example, if your site is about golfing, you can just type any keywords that will bring about websites of that particular niche. Type in perhaps golfing tips or adding power to your drive golf or anything of that nature. Then go onto the results and search for a blog that you think is suitable for you to write. Find a blog that is quite similar to yours and has the same niche as yours too. Read the posts of that blog or website and see if you think it would suit your style of writing in terms of tone, topic, and writing. Does the author adopt the same laid-back style of writing as you do, or maybe you write in a formal and serious tone? Does the blog you found read the same way? If you think your content would fit perfectly well in that blog, then you've found the one. Now, it's important that you establish a relationship with the blog owner by commenting and sharing their posts. Give your own feedback on a particular post in the comment section and share a bit of your ideas there. If there were a discussion in the comment section, don't be afraid to jump in. If your points and ideas are interesting to the blogger, then they might return the favor by checking out your blog and commenting. Also, it's not a bad idea to share the blogger's posts on your other social media networks. Just bear in mind that you are making your presence known and you're establishing a relationship with the blog author. They will notice you when you do these things. This is why it's important to establish a relationship with the blog author so that you can then proceed to approach them to write a guest post. As mentioned, it's best to find a blogger with a lot of followers and a lot of readers. The reason you're doing a guest post is to drive traffic to your website, and that wouldn't really work if you approach a blogger who has only a few monthly readers. Find ones that are known in your niche, or can even approach the blog authors of the blogs you often visit. As long as they're established, they're ideal. To approach them, you can start by sending an email. Usually bloggers provide their email address on their website. You can find it there as a means of communication. It's best to just get to the point and send an email that says you're interested in doing a guest posting in their website. Your email doesn't have to be long and serious. It's not like you're writing a contract, even though you kind of are. Be friendly, be straightforward. That's always the best approach. Or you can contact them through other social media like Facebook or Twitter. Some bloggers really appreciate that because these platforms don't have the seriousness of an email thread. Conversations can be done through a Facebook message or Twitter conversation thread instead. It's much friendlier, and people are usually more laid back in other social media platforms than emails. However, guest posting is a two-way street. No blog authors would want to help you out if you offer nothing in return. What you should do is that you let them to guest post on your blog. That way, they have the same chance of generating unique traffic for their website with yours. Consider this to be returning a favor. But remember, though, that their post should be congruent with yours. The same rule applies with when you write for their blog. There is no objective ways to compose a post, but there are no rules that you must follow either. However, there are principles. What's the difference between rules and principles? Well, for rules, following them is mandatory. For principles, following them works. When you write a guest post, you have to write well. Remember that you are approaching unique visitors, so you must bear in mind that most people on that blog will read your post for the first time. It's important to do it well. English teachers will tell you to write what you know. In this case, you have to follow their advice. It is a piece of wisdom that is significant in whatever field of writing you're in. You can try to fake your way into convincing people you're an expert in something you're actually clueless about, but it wouldn't work for people who are well versed in the topic. They can see through you. So always stick to what you know. Or if you feel a bit adventurous, you can write on a topic with contents at your disposal. Find a topic that you know where to get its contents and researches. Next, you don't really have to follow this if you don't want to, but it's good if you do. Use images, videos, quotations, or anything to make your post more compelling. Nowadays, contents for most things are visual heavy. It's easier to be understood and people are more comfortable with it. Use it to get your points across. For example, you can share images of pie charts to show statistics, how-to pictorial guide, or even use images to provide a little bit of comic relief. Having visuals is a great way to communicate. Lastly, of course, you'll need to provide the link to your website. This is very important. This is why you are guest posting. Provide a link and make it convenient for the readers to go to your website. If they're interested, they'll most likely click it. If a link is not provided, it's unlikely that the readers would put in the effort of searching for you on Google. Maybe some, but most won't. This link usually goes at the end of the post, written something like, if you want to check out my website, click here. Or you can even insert it in the post itself. The link can be in between two paragraphs and write something like, I've written about this topic previously here, with a hyperlink. And no matter what, have faith in quality content. Great content will generate passive traffic to your website. If you are able to pull off a successful guest posting, you'll have massive traffic to your website eventually.